welcome to the June edition of Cooking Level Zero. This is the first edition of the 2 during our Summer at Your Library program. So in case you guys don't know, this is a series of tons of events that we do every summer. They're still digital this year. You can find more information at our website at the Summer at Your Library webpage. We do have a reading program as well where you can earn some really awesome prizes just for reading books, and you get free books too, which for me is like, yay. So I mean, you should go sign up. So anyway, so on to this month's theme. This month's theme is going to be tea. Now I am completely obsessed with tea. I have cupboards and cupboards full of teacups and teapots and different tea paraphernalia. I have been forced to pack some up and put it in my closet in my room because my apartment is just not big enough. I also get a lot of tea subscription boxes and everything, so just obsessed with tea. But I also recognize that it is Fresno, it is hot, and you guys probably don't want to know how to brew hot tea during hot Fresno summer. So we're gonna do iced tea instead. Iced tea is really popular. I'm sure pretty much all of you guys have tried iced tea somewhere. It's really cool. It's really refreshing, and it's also really fun because you can infuse a bunch of unique characteristics in it, and like a lot of really cool flavors and a lot of really cool like tricks with the ice and everything. So you can make like this really fun drink that's actually super duper easy, and it's really nice when you're having like a social gathering like in your backyard or at a picnic or something, when you know we can all do that again, which we're all looking forward to. So yeah. So we're gonna learn more about tea today, and some of it's gonna include the hot stuff, but you just basically cool it down to get to the cold stuff, so yeah. Okay, so first things first, this is the main things you're gonna need in order to make iced tea. You're gonna want a pitcher to mix everything together in, a good long, hard, not flexible spoon, like a wooden spoon to be able to mix everything. You'll want like a good glass to put your tea in, probably a straw. Something to boil water in. It doesn't necessarily have to be an electric kettle. It can be just a pot on the stove or just a kettle on the stove. Your goal is to boil the water, but then you want to let the temperature of the water come down below boiling, but just barely, before you put it in with the tea. You're also going to want some ice trays. This one is a uniquely shaped one, so you can have some fun shaped ice with your tea. And finally, you're going to need tea. I'm using loose leaf tea today. A lot of people are very, intimidated by loose leaf tea, but it's actually pretty easy. As long as you have like either the reusable bags or you can get the little mesh tea bags that are they're like metal from like World Market or Amazon or lots of different places. And they're super cute. You can get like little manatee ones or little shark ones. And basically the rule of thumb is 1 teaspoon of loose leaf for 1 cup of tea, basically. So it's really easy to remember because it's literally a teaspoon for a cup of tea. So, and then these are some of the flavorings we're going to be using today for our video. So that's what that is. So one thing I do want to let you guys know about is how long you should brew your tea. This is going to be kind of hard to see. I'm sorry, guys. This is a loose leaf black tea, which means it should be brewed for about 3 to 4 minutes. Same with a green tea, but white tea should be brewed for 4 to 5 minutes. It's very important not to over steep them because then you start to get that really bad like bitter flavor that comes out. If you're like me and before you do a lot of research, you think that stronger tea means steeping it longer, then you will get that bitter flavor, and it's just not very fun, and it leaves a really dry taste in your mouth. So it makes tea drinking less enjoyable. So remember not to over steep. Another tip is instead of making ice cubes out of water, you can pre-make some black tea and make some ice cubes out of the tea, and that'll make it so it doesn't dilute your tea when you're making your iced tea. I did not do that today, partly because we have had to reshoot this video a few times, and partly because, yeah, I just never got around to it. So I'm bad, but you guys can do it. You can also make them super cute little ice cubes so you can decorate your tea, and it's awesome. So, so that's very important to remember those things, and otherwise you pretty much know how to brew tea that way. Basically the only difference between like white, green, and black teas are how they're processed. White teas come from the very new bud in the first part of spring. So they're from the newest leaves, but otherwise green and black are basically just processed differently. So that's the difference between the different types of tea. So just, yeah, the more you know. So something I like to do to make my life a little easier is I definitely use the electric kettle, but I'll also use the pitcher to measure out about how much tea I want to make. Remembering that we're gonna put like ice and like watermelon and mint in here and stuff to sweeten it. That way I know exactly how much tea I'm gonna get out of it. So you just pour that into the electric kettle and you close it up, and basically you plug this in, you flip the switch on the back of it and it will pop back up when it's done. It does get pretty loud though, so we are going to be back with you guys in a minute when this is done. Okay, so our water just got finished boiling. So what we're gonna do is I just made our 2 little tea bags. We're just gonna plop them in, and then we're gonna pour in the water. I like to pour in the water nice and slow because, like I said, you kind of want water that's slightly under boiling temperature for your tea. So just nice and slow. And then we're going to set a timer for 4 minutes and we'll be back to take the tea bags out. So we just used our wooden spoon to fish out the tea bags. A very important part of the taking out the tea bags, and something else that I kind of did wrong when I first was learning, was you don't want to smush the water out of what's in the tea bags. You just kind of want to let it kind of drain on its own and then throw it away. You can re-steep some types of tea, but you want to check the package to make sure you know whether or not you can. So now at this point, we are just kind of going to wait for the tea to cool down, and then we can add in our flavorings. So at this point, you could add like sweetener. Sweetener might be a good idea to add right now while it's hot so it can dissolve nice. You could also add like our mint, we could probably add now because that'll go in really nice. But otherwise, we're going to wait until it's cool, then add the ice, then add the watermelon, and then we can put it in our glass and drink it. So I think our tea is pretty cooled down at this point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plop a few pieces of watermelon in it. You don't need a lot, but just a little bit. Just a few. And then we're gonna grab a couple of the leaves of mint. And like I said, we're gonna bruise these, which basically means just like crushing them a little bit. Not too much, just enough to start getting the oil working its way out and to kind of break them up a little bit so that they'll start releasing their flavoring. And then we just kind of put them in here. The table's clean, I promise. Always clean your work surface. It's very important. And I like mint, so I'm gonna put quite a bit in here. And I like to put the flavorings in before I put the ice in, just because I feel like it helps the flavor kind of get into the tea a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Minty hands, minty hands. Now for the iced tea, the iced part of our iced tea, we are going to sorry, they do not want to come out. And then I am going to rinse off this spoon because I think I do want to put a little bit of sweetener in here, just so it's more everybody friendly, because I don't generally like sweetener, but a lot of people do. I am going to put my stevia sweetener in there though, because it's non-calorie and better for people who have like diabetes. So I'm gonna put my spoon, and because it's a big pitcher, I'm gonna get, you know, a bit. Stevia is very sweet though, so you don't need as much of it as you would of sugar. And you stir. My tea was still kind of warm because I'm making this video, so the tea is already kind of melted. But your tea is done. So now you can pour it in your glass. And you can even put more ice in your cup to make it so that your tea will stay cold longer. But this is why the pitchers have like those little strainer sides on them with the slots. So you can avoid stuff like ice or flavorings in there. And then you get your tea. So that is how you make an iced tea. Oh man, I love that flavor. I'm sorry guys. It's very mint forward, I gotta admit. Mine is very mint forward, but I love it. So I hope you guys get to try this out and try a bunch of different combinations and see what you guys would like. So thank you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.